Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Christina, coming to you from the Catio. And before we get started with today's convo, I just wanted to apologize if you hear noise in the background. It is the air conditioning here in the Catio because it is a beautiful day, but I think we finally broke 90 degrees here in central Georgia. But it is just an absolute beautiful day. Blue skies, sunshine, so it's a hot one. And joining us today is Mrs. She's hanging out for the video. But back on track, our convo for today is get out and other threats that the narcissist make. Now, one thing that you might be asking is, does the narcissist actually make threats that are empty, or should you take them seriously? I like to err on the side of caution and say, yes, absolutely take them seriously. Because whether or not they do what they say they're going to do, over time, they will build up to being able to carry out whatever they're threatening you with. My narcissist abuser started out, his favorite thing, the go-to threat was get out. I can't even begin to tell you how many times I was thrown out. And I'm laughing about it today. In the very beginning, it was terrifying. I didn't have the stability of the job I have and the financial resources. I was here alone. I had no network. He isolated me from friends and family. So the first time that I was actually thrown out, one of his threats, he actually did it. And I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't want to go to a shelter. I was too embarrassed to get a hotel room, and at the time, couldn't afford one. So I did the best that I could, which was go to CVS. I bought a large dog bed, and I slept under my desk at work. He never called all night long. Didn't know where I was. Didn't care about my well-being. Just get out. And that was his favorite. Like I said, the times I was told to get out, if I had $1 for every time, like the old saying goes, I'd be a very wealthy woman. But yeah, it got to the point where he would say it so much, it almost just became comical. Like one day we were sitting on the couch watching television, and one of those commercials for one of those stair lifts that take you and, you know, like ride somebody up the stairs for handicapped accessibility. Our stairs were very steep, and we were having a great day watching TV, and that commercial came on, and I said to him, hey, that'd be great if we got that for the stairs here. Well, if you don't like it, get out. You can leave. It's like, even when things were going well, he had to find some way to invoke his control, to manipulate. It became just so absurd and ridiculous. And finally, when I got the cat house, my home, I loved when he would say, get out, because all that meant was a night away. I didn't have to live in fear anymore. I didn't worry about where I was going to be at night, that overwhelming sense of being frightened and not know where you're going to be able to shower or where you're going to get dressed, when he's going to let you back in. All that went away. Now, again, not everybody has the financial resources. Luckily, I did position myself with a career and having, of course, the help from family and friends that I could always rely and count on, that was able to get me out of being under that control. And I will say, once I did have my own residence, the threats of get out still continued. But to me, they were just empty threats at that point. He couldn't do anything. Get out? Okay. Well, now I have a roof over my head. I have shelter. I have food. I have water. I don't need to stay. So that was his favorite threat that my narc abuser used to say. It would also be, well, I'm done with you. And some narcissists will say, well, you know, I'm going to leave. Okay, bye. My narc never did. It was always, I'm done with you. You're volatile. You're horrible. You know, and things that he would say just didn't make any sense. Like, well, you always yell. And I'd be talking in the most calm, quiet voice possible. And it was like he just had to flip the script. So when a narcissist is saying and threatening you, whether they're going to leave, they want you to leave, always take it serious. But sometimes it is empty threats. And some of it's ridiculous threats. I'll never forget one evening I was upstairs in like the office, and I was, playing music, and I can't remember if I was working, on something remotely from home, but whatever it was, I don't even know if I was up there dancing. It doesn't matter. He came up and he was like, "You got to turn down that music or I'm going to take the door off." Just like a parent would in the 1950s. So I was like, all right, I turned down the volume. He went downstairs, came back up the stairs. Next thing I know, he's taking the actual doorknob off the door because he told me that I was listening to music too loud, or I was dancing or having a good time by myself without him around. Anyway, case in point, he actually carried through with such a ridiculous threat. So on those things, yes, you can maybe call their bluff, but I choose not to. I choose not to engage the narcissist. Their behaviors are so childlike. Their threats are just ridiculous. It's just to regain control. That's when they start threatening you, they feel like they've lost the control over you, and threatening is a way to gain that back. So that's what threats are. Now, it does become more serious when they start threatening your physical well-being, or your friends, your family, your pets, anybody's safety and well-being. And if they start threatening and making threats to harm anyone, obviously take them serious. I remember there was an instance where he was in a narcissistic rage, where he was throwing my cats out of the door, and there was one of the cats that was in the home, was only in for a short time, and she has since then passed. But I remember him saying, "You get her, blah, blah, beep, 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 out of here, or I'm going to kill her. I'm going to kill that cat. And he just kept saying, "I'm going to kill her, I'm going to kill her." And I'm hysterically crying and trying to get the cats that he threw out the door so they don't, run away and get harmed. I'm trying to make sure he's not hurting the ones that are still in the house. So obviously when the narcissist begins to threaten you, your loved ones, your pets, your family, obviously at that point you do need to take them serious, and you need to call the police. I never did. I wasn't strong enough. I just bowed down to whatever he said and made sure I got the cats out, brought them here, so that way he wouldn't harm them, and luckily he didn't. And then another thing that I find that can be quite frightening is when somebody who's the narcissist actually says, "Well, I'm going to unalive myself, or I'm going to hurt myself if you leave, or if you do this, or you do that." Personally, my ex-narcissist abuser never did that to me. However, he did mention that when he was with his ex-wife, who he was with for 10 years, that when she left, he had pondered the thoughts of hurting himself and ending it all. And to me, that just seems, again, just like everything else that he was doing with her was projecting and this and that. I just feel like he was just lying. He was, on the smear campaign. I don't believe he ever had any thought of hurting himself, because the narcissist, they are so egocentric. They're not going to do anything that's going to derail how people view them. And I don't believe that he was ever at a stage where he was so distraught with loss and grief from her moving on and leaving that he would even consider that, because I don't believe he'll consider it at all. He is more of the kind of person that would resort to violence. Case in point, he pulled a gun on her. He was physically abusive to me. So the narcissist can lie, they can make empty threats, or they can be serious. And the only thing you can do to protect yourself is to take it serious. And once you see those patterns where someone is literally day after day, threatening you, to control you, to manipulate the situation, to benefit, to come up off of you, chances are you're dealing with a narcissist or a highly toxic person. And it's time for you to get out and to leave. Don't stay and wait for the discard like I did. 18 years. I sat there and took every threat, every lie, and I took it as truth. And I was truly terrified to my soul for so many years. I didn't even have the strength and the courage to walk away. So don't be me. Don't wait for the discard. If you see these patterns arise, you hear somebody threatening you over and over, whether it's little things or big things, it's time to leave. Your safety, your health, your well-being is the #1 priority. So anyway, guys, that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like, thumbs up, subscribe, share, anything that's going to help push this kind of content out onto YouTube so more people have access and might understand what they are dealing with. So until next time, guys, have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you soon.